Mars Attacks comes out in 2025. Let's hear it.
Don't run. We are your friends.
Yeah, I don't know the quotes.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I see that Aka. I've seen a lot of stuff with that.
Oh, the Ack?
Yeah, Aka.
Yeah.
So, but all right, Dave, let's hear your thoughts.
All right, guys.
Where is this game coming from?
You know what? This one's probably going to be short and sweet because I was a little bit excited about this game, but now I'm kind of like a little on the fence. I'm not really sure why this IP was chosen, but essentially we're looking at Mars Attacks right now. Adam, if you want to pull up the trailer, we can check out the trailer. This was announced at GameCon. If you don't know anything about Mars Attacks, which is the IP that this is the IP that this is using. This is Tim Burton's movie that was released in 1996. It was like, honestly, it was like kind of the first concept, like the Expendables, that just kind of had like every famous movie character or movie actor at the time in this movie. I mean, this movie had Jack Nicholson, Michael J. Fox, Danny DeVito, Jack Black, Pierce Brosnan, Martin Short, like the lineup in this movie was absolutely insane. It was kind of like an homage to like old science fiction kind of B movies done by Tim Burton. And I really loved it. It was a funny movie. It had a great concept, but I don't know. Now they're kind of turning it into what we're going to take a look at here. So if you guys are just listening, essentially they just kind of taken this IP and then turned it into like a theme park builder is essentially kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. And the thing that's really kind of weird about it that doesn't really offer any explanation is the trailer's opening up and it has like different time periods going on. And then we're getting a look at like a crying astronaut right now. And then it kind of pans back and you can see that you're like inside of this park. And the basic idea behind this is that you are the Martians from Mars Attacks, and you're just like building this theme park. Does this have any interest to you at all?
Truthfully, not really, because like the theme park building games just aren't my cup of tea. However, so I know you asked like why did they pick this IP? So I watched the dev video, like their first devlog of it, and the big reason why they brought this game or they started making this game is because they are huge fans of both Mars Attacks or it's Mars Attacks, right? That's the movie. Yeah, and this is Mars Attacks. So it's so confusing. But they're huge fans of this movie, this IP, but also huge fans of the genre of like amusement park simulators. So like Roller Coaster Tycoon and things like that. And so that's where the desire to make a game like this came from. So it's really a passion project. It's not just like, oh, let's pick a random IP. It's because they're huge fans of this. They're huge fans of the genre, game type of genre. And I think that's why this game and this IP are put together in that kind of sense. But yeah, it doesn't really hold my interest too well. Again, it's coming out in 2025. The whole idea is, like Dave said, it's a park management simulator, and the whole idea is you're taking the role of the CEO of this park, and you create rides that are in attractions. So rides and attractions, the attractions could be enclosures of the humans that they never think that they left home, and roller coasters and things like that. And you hire staff, you manage guest needs, and the one of the critical things of it is you abduct humans to be these attractions, but also by abducting the humans, you do research on the humans, and the research turns into research points, and that's how you can make more attractions, more rides, and things of that nature. But with that, you also have to manage the humans to keep them sort of content and alive is a big part of the game. So making sure these humans don't want to escape, die, and that they're content with their living conditions, if that makes sense. And humans, like you were saying, it's confusing that it's from different eras. That's part of the attraction. So like there's the Wild Wild West, the Roman Empire. You see the astronaut in the trailer, and that's the whole idea of it, if that makes sense. And then other like strategy behind it, you have to face the demands of the visitors, environmental hazards. The humans can escape due to poor conditions, or and with that you have to find a balance between keeping them happy in their enclosure or adding more security so they can't like escape. So there's a lot to it in terms of the whole simulator, kind of like a roller coaster tycoon. You have to balance all those kinds of things, but I don't know. It's not for me.
The thing that really like it's cool that I did see the same interview where they were talking about it being a passion project, and I thought it was really cool. Of like, yeah, you take these two games and you kind of merge them together, and or you take this IP and you put it on a game that you might not think like the game style would attach to, and make it work. That's really cool. And then in the trailer, like Adam said, you're going through time. So we saw like with the Wild West era, we've seen the Roman Empire era, but that's one of the things that doesn't really make sense to me is like how are all of a sudden these aliens not only aliens but they're time travelers, because you're literally going throughout time to different eras to abduct these humans. You know what I mean? So like that's the part where I was kind of like, okay, this is getting a little too like it's a video game, so it's fine to be far fetched, but like this is getting like a little too weird. This is getting a little too weird.
I don't think there's really no explanation behind it aside from the fact that they just because it'd be kind of boring to have like I see the attraction to expand the different types of people. Because if you just have a bunch of random Joe Schmoes, office workers from downtown Manhattan, like that's gonna be boring. But if you had Roman Empire and astronauts and things like that, so I feel like it's trying to bring a little bit more variety to it and more like enclosures that you can do to really just make it more expansive than just like a few different human like elements, if that makes sense.
I get that, and that's honestly the part that I'm kind of the most excited about is being able to build these habitats, because they do say that these habitats are highly customizable. So I think that's really kind of cool. That's one of the aspects of the game that I think I'm really probably the most excited about, because if you look at what we've seen in the trailer and what we've heard from the devs, it doesn't feel like these um, attractions are going to be dynamic. I feel like they're going to be very static. You know what I mean? So like in roller coaster tycoon and stuff like that, in the later editions, you drop the coaster and you can actually like kind of plan the route. Like you can place it rail by rail. I feel like this is going to be much more static, like a Sim City kind of thing, where it's like, here's the roller coaster, place it right here, and this just is what it is. So like when it comes to the actual ride aspect of it, that sort of designing kind of thing, I think it's going to be pretty limited. So the habitats is really where you can kind of go nuts with the customizable stuff. So I'm excited that they brought it in. I just think I don't know, you just start throwing all these weird things in there, and then also like the research points where it's like they were talking about like you have to like probe people and like and you're just like, I don't know, dude. This is getting kind of weird.
One way I kind of look at it, kind of going into that customization, it's going to be cool if you can theme like different parts of your theme park. So I don't know if you've ever been to like a Busch Gardens or anything like that. Like different sections of the theme park could be like, all right, this is my Wild Wild West human interaction. Here's our roller coaster, the honky tonk roller coaster, and then here's our humans in it. So like, and then you go across the park and you're in the astronaut. This is our Shuttle of Doom roller coaster, and here's our humans that we probed to. Yeah, I think that's gonna be kind of cool. You can like customize it to be themed in certain spots, so I think that would be kind of fun with that, thinking about it that way. If you're gonna like have different themes of the park, if that makes sense.
And I love that idea. I mean, if it was something like that, I would be a little bit more excited. I just think I was super excited because I do love these like, I love like a good like design game. It doesn't have to be a park simulator. It doesn't have to be anything. I just love kind of like designing things and building things and having this chill atmosphere. And then you toss it to an IP like Mars Attacks, which for me, it just is like a nostalgia blast from the past. I mean, this movie came out in 1996, so like obviously I'm super excited about it. But the more I kind of look at it, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be as customizable as I want it to be. So like if you're able to do those things that you say you can do, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I think if like 90% of this game is just static drops and there's not really much that you can do in the way of like customization, I think it's just going to kind of get old fast.
Wonder with the different humans, I think it'd be really cool to have an element of like specific types or variations of the culture or wherever or the time. It'd be cool to have like, let's say the Roman Empire like is more susceptible to escape because they're more strong and things like that. That'd be kind of a cool element too if they added it. But who knows? I know the one thing that the dev said, they're very early on in their development and they want feedback of like ideas and thoughts that you may want in the game. So if you want to join their Discord, you can share these kinds of thoughts with them. But for me, I'm just not a big amusement park simulator or Sim City simulator person. But I think it has the potential to be fun. I think that's where it's at. And I don't think this game's going to cost very much when it does come out. I think it's going to be 15, $20 or somewhere around that range. And I think again, it's one of those that, hey, I'll try it. It's fun. Let me put a few hours into it and then never come back. So that's where I think this game could go.
It does feel like a game that's not going to be very expensive. Like Adam said, I think around $15-$20 is probably the perfect price point. Guys, on the off chance that you see this, the game looks like it could be a lot of fun. It definitely has my heart just from like an IP standpoint because I love Mars Attacks, and I think a lot of the older generation like myself has like a nice little nostalgia kick when you see this. You can see in the comments all the ack and all the "don't run, we are friends" and like people just spewing lines from the movie. So there's obviously interest here. I would just say like, if possible, maybe spend a little bit of time and like showcase a little bit more of the customization and possibly make, stuff outside of the habitats a little bit more customizable because just first glance it looks like we said, and I could be totally wrong. Guys, if you see this and I'm totally wrong, let us know down in the comments, but it looks like a lot of things are going to be static drops, and I feel like if they're static drops, it's probably just going to get a little bit stale quicker than it would be if there was a lot more dynamic stuff there.